Why do I fall in love with every woman I see who shows me the least bit of attention?
Some relationships make you feel alone all the time, even when you're together. Day after day, you just go through the motions of being a couple, and you wonder how this person you used to be so in love with seems totally indifferent to your existence now. You say you love each other, but this isn't what you thought love was supposed to feel like, and occasionally, when you're quietly feeling less important than ever, you find yourself wondering how it got like this. You remember the first time you saw them. The way they looked at you made you feel like you were the only person in the room. It'd be stupid to tell them that, though. I mean, they're perfect, and you're just you. But for some totally unexplainable reason, they approach you, and you fall in love with them. Everything about them. But before long, maybe 2 or 3 months, you start to realize that the person you thought you were dating is imaginary. You imagine that everything you didn't know about them would be just as perfect as the things you did. You glossed over every detail so you wouldn't have to lose the fictional person you created in your head. But this person sitting across from you in the booth, they're a real person, and they've got their own projections, their own weaknesses, their own dreams. Maybe they've got no idea what they want, and you just seem like a fun way to kill time. Or maybe they're only dating you so they can run away from something. Maybe you're doing the same thing. As reality slowly strips away your imaginary version of them, you're confronted with a painful truth. This isn't the person you thought they were, and you're not right together. The days become weeks, the weeks become months, and you find yourself not wanting to go home because you know they'll be there waiting for you. You try to remember the beginning of the relationship, when everything was perfect and they were imaginary. You're miserable, but what if this is as good as it gets? Besides, what if you never find someone else? So you play a game of chicken, each waiting for the other to be brave enough to hurt somebody they care about. Every movie you grew up watching has prepared you for this, though. They've told you that love is the most important thing, that one day you'll find some gorgeous someone and you'll feel something in your gut that tells you they're the one, and that you too can live happily ever after as long as you don't lose them. Your love will be tested, and you should actually expect things to go wrong, because those movies have taught you that having your relationship almost fall apart is a necessary part of true love, and love is worth fighting for. So you don't give up. You believe in true love. But nothing magical happens like it does in the movies, and it hurts too much to stay together. So they cheat on you, or maybe you just yell at each other and say something you can't take back.
Now, see, Clem, I assume you fucked someone tonight. Isn't that how you get people to like you?
So you break up. You spend a few days or weeks telling yourself you deserve to be lonely, but eventually you pick yourself up and you get over them. You move on with your life and you tell yourself that love is a fantasy only idiots fall for, but
I'm Autumn.
It happens again, over and over and over. Some movies make it really clear that love is a cycle. They're movies that say, just because you found someone you like doesn't mean you're going to live happily ever after with them. In Blue Valentine, Ryan Gosling's character is a hopeless romantic, and he hasn't been able to stop thinking about this girl since the first moment he saw her.
I don't know, I just feel like I should just stop, just stop thinking about it, but I can't. Maybe I've seen too many movies, Love at first sight.
At this point in the movie, they haven't even said anything to each other, but because they shared this glance, he's already fantasizing about the person she must be. This perfect, imaginary person. Gosling actually seems to fall into this problem pretty often. Michelle Williams plays Cindy. She's an aspiring nurse going to medical school, she takes care of her grandma, and she's got a family that supports her. Dean is her polar opposite. He's totally content with moving from city to city to find odd jobs, he's got no resume to speak of, and he doesn't aspire to anything more in his life. The only person he has to worry about is himself, and the only thing he's missing is someone to love him. When she first meets him, he's sweet and sensitive and makes her laugh, and he's nothing like the guy that she's currently dating who just treats her like a condom. Neither character has love in their lives, and so they mistake each other as the solution to their loneliness. They're just too caught up in their feelings to notice.
It's funny. When you look at someone through rose-colored glasses, all the red flags just look like flags.
It's a timeless story, and there are a few movies that tell it really well. One of the best examples is Charlie Kaufman's Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Joel Barish is a lonely man stuck in an on-again, off-again relationship that's not really doing anything for him. When Clementine catches him glancing at her on the bus, she immediately responds to the attention and introduces herself.
My name's Clementine, by the way.
I'm Joel.
She's impulsive and colorful and crude, and we get the sense that she's everything that Joel hasn't been getting from his current relationship. So he falls for her, and they go through this terrible cycle of forgetting each other and meeting again. Even after they know they're not going to work out, they commit to starting again, unable to break the cycle and doomed to live eternally in the warmth of the first few months of their relationship.
What is it that keeps two people together for such a long time and it's just not working?
I can call my parents and ask them.
Tom has the same problem in 500 Days of Summer. He falls in love with the idea of Summer and decides he'll do anything he can to win her before they've even had a conversation.
I love her smile. I love her hair. I love the way she sometimes licks her lips before she talks. I love the sound of her laugh.
Throughout their relationship, they just each assume that the other person shares the same goals, and they never actually talk about what they want from each other. To be fair, Summer at least says what she doesn't want.
I'm not really looking for anything serious.
But actions speak louder than words, and if you spend all your time with somebody and, sleep with them, someone's gonna get their feelings hurt. Their lack of communication pretty quickly spirals down a rabbit hole of expectations not matching up with reality.
I just don't want to release.
Well, you're not the only one that gets a say in this. I do too. And I say we're a couple. God damn it.
Tom literally spirals after their first big fight. And by the end of their relationship, all the superficial things about Summer that Tom loved in the beginning become things he hates.
I hate her crooked teeth. I hate her 1960s haircut. I hate the way she smacks her lips before she talks. And I hate the way she sounds when she laughs.
He spent too much time with her to preserve the fantasy he'd been clinging to since the beginning of the relationship. At least his friend seems to have figured things out.
The girl of my dreams would probably have a really bodacious rack, maybe different hair. Probably, she'd probably be a little more into sports. But truthfully, Robin's better than the girl of my dreams. She's real.
Probably because that guy's had some real life experience.
How you holding up there, intern? Doing okay?
These breakup movies hurt to watch. Not just because we're watching two people suffer for the last 45 minutes, but because the characters are...
Well, when you love someone, you work it out. You don't just throw it away. You have to be careful with it. You might never get it again.
maybe just a little too relatable. The movies make us feel terrible, but it's a comfortable kind of terrible. It's a terrible that says, we're all out here making mistakes, and you're not alone. Looking at a relationship authentically like this, from start to finish, is something you can only ever really do in a breakup movie. Romantic comedies like to sell us the idea that two people meet, fall in love, have one big fight, and then live happily ever after. All of those movies are ending at the beginning of the relationship. We're just supposed to accept that neither character ever grows or changes, and getting married solves all their problems. To show an honest example of a relationship with all of its ups and downs, you'd need a series of movies that showed characters growing and learning to love each other in new ways throughout their lives. But for that, you'd need a writer and a director to keep coming back to the same story every 10 years or so, and two actors that would commit to filming something in their 20s that wouldn't end until they were in their 40s. So that's what he did. Richard Linklater's Before trilogy, that's Sunrise, Sunset, and Midnight, stars Julie Delpy and Ethan Hawke, and it covers the whole span of the relationship between Celine and Jesse. We meet them in their 20s, when they're young and full of romance. Then again in their 30s, when they've both got careers and commitments, and finally in their 40s. By the third movie, they're upset with what their lives have become. There's no time left to dream about what their futures will be like when they've grown up, because they already have. This is their reality now, and that's a scary thing to accept. They've got kids, regrets, and barely any time for each other. It's not the life they dreamed of in the first movie, but it's the life they've shared. It's not really clear at the end of the third movie if they're about to break up or if their love has been rekindled, but none of these movies have really clear endings, because love is, well... The trilogy is one of the best cinematic examples of a story that's honest about what happens after the credits roll in one of those rom-coms. It's a trilogy that shows us what love actually... No, stop it, not that. That shows us what love actually looks like. It might not contain any grand romantic gestures, and it might change over time, but love is the comfort of knowing that your lives are better together, and you wouldn't trade that for anything.